Hello, everyone. Not sure my audio. It's good. So I'm back. Decided to do another live right now. Um, I'm hopeful everybody can hear me. I'm not sure my audio is very good, but I wanted to jump in because I had been talking before about GPT and telling me some things that if it was the devil, um, what would what things would do in order what the devil would do or what GPT would do if it was a devil in order to ruin women in this 21st century. And I thought it was pretty cool because it actually pulled up about I think it was eight stuff. Yeah. It was eight things. And um let me see. Yeah. So the one that I was talking about was actually the cut off the connection to God. It says, make faith seem old fashioned, unnecessary, or oppressive. Make them think they're on their own savior, that they are their own savior, or that God has forgotten them. I thought that was pretty interesting to me because like I said before, a lot of people think that way already, that they're doing things on their own and nobody is helping them out. So I thought it was pretty interesting. And then the seventh one was attack their mental health, emotion health. It says flood them with anxiety, depression, trauma, body shame, and then make sure that they feel ashamed for struggling. I think this is something that I even myself go through that. And now that we have Instagram and social media, it's a lot worse. So when for me, Facebook first came out, I was very young. I think I must have been around 18 or 19. I'm not sure, or yeah, around there. And I really did not care about it much. I mean, before it was MySpace, so I'm not sure if anybody in here that remembers MySpace. Um, but things were not as concerning about how you looked and filters and things like that. It wasn't like that at all. So before it was more about posting what you're doing in the day and putting musics and stuff like that. But now that we have um, Facebook and we have Instagram and Snapchats and all these filters, I known I mean, I see myself where there's people that go to, certain plastic surgeons and that they want whatever the filter has given them, they want to look like that. So I think that sense it's really happening a lot more now than what it was before. I mean, before it was the magazines when you wanted to look like the magazines, but now we have social media and we have young kids, very, very young kids trying to compare themselves to how people look on Instagram. Trying to look like that, putting a lot of more makeup. I mean, some of these girls are probably like 11 or 12 and they're looking like they're 14, 15. Um, because they're severely depressed that, they're comparing themselves. So they're giving themselves anxiety, depression, body shame, and I think it's just a very perfect way to attack women, right? To make us feel ashamed, and to have us struggle. That's just really it's a very good point of what GPT made. Another one is tempt them to chase false empowerment, sell the lies of power, dominance, that freedom rejecting family, that success stepping on others, twist a real empowerment into something self-destructive. Um, this one to me, the way I see it is that we have a lot of cases where women are more worried about their careers when they have kids and they have families and they leave their kids behind with the nanny. I'm not trying to diss anyone, but a lot of women out there, they're so worried about their careers, leaving the family behind. When I was young, anything I dreamed of was being a mom, and my parents would always teach me that no matter who I married, I was always going to work. but something inside of me always felt I want to be at home with my kids. My husband can go work as much as he wants to. I want to be a stay-home mom and I want to work for my home, for my husband. I am the kind that wants to have dinner on the table ready for him when he comes from work. I'm the one that's always looking forward to when to do the laundry. Yes, it's a lot. Sometimes I can complain, but I love it at the end of the day because I'm able to do that. And I feel that that false empowerment of us women, we also need to take care of everything in the house and we have to be better than men. That's not something that I would want my daughter to follow. I mean, if later on she's with her husband and they both want to work by all means, but once they have kids, I want her to realize that she it's a mom and nobody is going to take care of her kids better than herself. No nanny, not even grandma is gonna be taking care of those kids better than what she would. And she needs to be part of the child's life every single time. Yes, it's important that the father is there, but mainly the mother. That is extremely important. My husband can go and work 1, 2, 3 jobs if he wants to. I'll stay at home, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll take care of the kids. I'm okay with that. And I think that's something that we've been told a lot of, go and work. Now, I'm not saying if this is for women that they have no other choice but to go work. This is completely a different story. My mom was a single mother. She raised me. I have a sister, but for some time we were separated. She was staying with my dad. My mom worked 2 jobs, sometimes even 3 jobs to take care of me, and I had to be at home alone at a very young age. Now, this is not for women on that situation. I mean, for women that are married or are starting to have kids and they're able to stay at home, please just stay at home and take care of your kids. I think it's important. I When I went back to work, I always made sure, even now, if I choose to go back to work, I make sure that it's around my daughter's schedule because I don't wanna miss out on anything, and then I need to make sure that if she says, "Mom, I need you," that I'm there in a heartbeat. Especially now that she's getting older, I need to make sure that I'm there for her all the time, that she feels that mommy is there despite whatever time. My daughter is my priority and my job, it's my second priority. Um, Whenever I have had jobs, I always make let them know that what I'm doing, I'm choosing to work. It's a hobby, it's something I love because I love to provide at home as well. But if it comes stressful for me at any time, I am gonna let go of the job immediately because my kid comes first. So every time they ask me that in an interview, they would always tell me, what is your priority? And I always say, my daughter. I'm looking for a job that I can grow, but at the same time, a job that will not stop me from being there for my kid if I have to get up and leave. So I that to me is important. Again, I'm not saying for all the women that they have to work. The next one, it was steal their peace through constant distraction, keep them glued to devices, scrolling endlessly, never resting, never sitting quietly with God. Uh, Fill every moment with noise so they can't hear the truth. This is so truth, right? Like I think that a lot of us we're always trying to work on not being on Facebook and not be scrolling on Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube. I'm guilty at this. And now that I read this, it kind of helps me to be more mindful when I'm on the phone. Now I feel that every time if I'm on the phone, like just a few minutes ago, I got distracted and started looking at my phone, and I'm like, "Wait, this is what the devil wants me to do. The devil wants me to be distracted with this, and I need to let that go." And I put it away immediately, and I think I'm gonna start setting up a schedule or something for me to change that habit. And I know that whenever you change a habit, you have to replace it for something else. I learned this a while back. I'm not sure where I read this. So usually I read things, but I I tend to not remember what book I read it from. But I remember in a book or somebody said whenever you change a bad habit, you have to replace it for something else. For something else. So I think the book that I'm reading now, I'm going to replace it with that habit. So start learning to not be stuck on a device all day long. Um, but yeah, okay, so that's one. Um, the other one is overload with unrealistic expectations. Pressure them to be perfect mothers, perfect wives, successful career women, and always put together. Make them believe they must do everything or they're failing. This is this is so true because I mean, I even did a video a while back, the top well, not much of a while back, but I think 3 weeks ago, we talks about we're looking at Instagram and all the social media, and they're putting a perfect life, right? Mom wakes up at 5:30 in the morning and does this breakfast for all her other 5 kids, and then she goes to the gym, and then this putting this expectation that it's to sell you to view their channel and to follow them and wanting to be like them when in reality, I bet you they just did that at that time, but they couldn't keep it the same way the next day. Or I don't know. It's just it's to me just that seems like this is not true. I actually seen a video of a gal who, tends to put all this some of these influencers on blast, and there was a moment where a girl is saying that she's waking up at 5:30 in the morning, but her watch, which she had completely missed, was somewhere in the bathroom and on the countertop, and they zoom into what her watch was saying. Her watch was saying it was 9:30, while she was over here posting on YouTube, "Oh, it's 5:30 in the morning," and it was fake, and I can assure you how many women felt like, "I wanna be like that. I wanna wake up at 5 in the morning. What is wrong with me?" You know, bringing themselves down a lot more without realizing that just waking up is an accomplishment. It's a blessing that you're able to breathe today, the moment. Um, and we don't have to have these expectations that we have to be perfect. Some of us have 5 kids, some of us have 10 kids, some of us have 1 kid. I only have 1 child. So I wish I would have had more so I can have a very extremely busy time and a very, you know, messy home with a bunch of toys and a bunch of cooking. But God bless me with 1. But yeah, I think that putting expectations like that, videos like that really hurts us one another, and it makes us feel that we're never enough, that we're not doing enough. I mean, and it keeps us distracted. We want to scroll more and more and more, and then you find the one person, follow my tips or download this and download that to help you keep accountable to wake up at whatever time in the morning. um, but there's no, "Hey, listen, it's okay. Just keep going, keep going in life, keep doing the best that you can." It's just it annoys me sometimes when I see those videos. Um, Now the other one is destroy their sense of identity, confuse them about who they are, what they're created for, blur the lines of femininity, masculinity, purpose, and worth. Woo! Destroy their sense of identity. Yes. Um, I'm okay with women being strong, accomplish whatever they want to accomplish by all means. I want my daughter to be strong, but at the same time, I don't need her to be comparing herself constantly to being better than a man. A man has his purpose and a woman has his purpose, and I don't want her to just be girl power all the way of men because we need men. We 100% need men, and we need women. We all balance each other out. There's no such thing as we don't need men. Yes, we do. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, whoever it is. We need men. And I want my daughter to know that she's gonna have babies. She's gonna be a wonderful wife, and she's gonna have a husband that is gonna help her balance everything out. It's important. A man does a job that he needs to do, and the woman does the job that she needs to do. So it's important. So I don't want her sense of identity to be destroyed. She's going to know what her purpose is, and we all have different purposes in life. My purpose was different when I was, you know, before I was a teen, and then after I was a teen, then once I turned 18 years old, every phase of your life, you have a different purpose. And she is going to know that. She's not going to need Instagram to tell her that. She's not going to need nobody to tell her that. She is going to be confident to know what her purpose is going to be. Period. And if you ask, how do you know that? Well, I have God. That's all. My daughter will know because she's in God's hand what her purpose is going to be. Nobody can tell me otherwise. He is the only one that will tell me that, and my God will just take care of everything. Period. The next one is break their relationships and isolate them. Turn women against each other's with gossip, jealousy, betrayal, and make sure they see other women as competition, not a sister. Hmm. Wow, this is very much accurate because this is what we see a lot of us doing. Even to me saying what I'm saying about men and women, I am sure someone is not going to like it and they're going to attack that, which is exactly what it takes me to attacking one another. I'm always about you have a different perspective. Let's talk about it. The end of our conversation, if I don't agree, then I don't agree. And if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. It's okay. Let's just forget that, put that on the side, and let's keep being friends. And me having to insist or push somebody to believe in what I believe, we're never going to go nowhere. And I don't want to waste that energy. And I'm not going to stop talking to somebody just for the way they are. Um, as long as they respect my decisions and the way I live and what I believe, my values, then we're good. That's it. No pushing values. I'm gonna push mine. Don't push yours either. Jealousy, gossip, and betrayal. Yes, my daughter actually had to learn this at a very young age, recently in school. Uh, Girls, I mean, it can even happen with guys, right? But her very closest friends betrayed her completely, for the gossiping and the jealousy and that betrayal. And it's something that I wish she would have never known, but it's part of life. And she had to learn that. She had to learn that all on her own. The next one is well, the last one is convince them their worth is only an appearance. Flood social media with impossible beauty standards, filter surgery, comparison, shame, make them feel they're never enough unless they look perfect. Again, this is we're seeing this. We're seeing this 100% right now. Girls struggling to trying to look pretty with the big booties and the big boobies and it's sad because instead of us learning to I mean, even for myself, sometimes I'm even like, well, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that little kind of work. And no, I immediately jump to tell myself I need to be happy with who I am at the age that at the age that I am with whatever. I need to be proud of myself and I need to love me for me. Sometimes some people they're 60 years old and they want to look like they're still in their 20s. How about let's start loving ourselves and let's start putting more content about accepting yourself. I love that there was a phase of women letting their gray hair grow. I think that's super, super awesome. I still I stopped seeing that for a while now, but I still see sometimes some women that are able to show their grays, and I think that's beautiful. That's beauty. That's true beauty, and that's where God wants us to not worry about our appearance. He wants to worry about what's in the inside. I think I think that's very accurate. Um I think there's even something on GPT where it shows that as well. I mean, in the Bible, where he wants us to not be concerned about what people say or what we wear. It's more about what's inside of us. Um, oh, I have a comment that says, "Do people still believe in God nowadays?" I like to say yes, but I think that it's more people trying to find their spiritual self, um, in this whole journey are trying to find God. Some of them are seeking it somewhere else, with, doing, I guess, ayahuasca or things like that. Or some of them are opening the Bible or going to the, service. I think that no matter what religion people are seeking for, we're all seeking for God, because I do think that a lot of us are lost. Um, I'm a big believer that there is a God, there is a bigger somebody created, not somebody, but something or whatever you want to call it, created the world. Um, and no matter what science says, it's God is the only explanation that they could be for me. So I think that a lot of people are seeking that. I think we're currently in that generation where we're looking for something that has meaning and we're finding it. It's a little hard to find it, but we're finding it. But yeah, what else? What other question does anybody else have out there? Okay, let me see. Now, one thing I thought it was pretty cool that GPT was able to, because I wanted to read this to my mom. She's a Spanish speaker, and GPT translated this in Spanish. So I read this to her, and she even thought that is true what GPT says. A lot of these things are happening in today's day. One thing I thought it was cool too. It's in the beginning and chapter. I think it was. I'm not sure if it's Joel. I think it was Joel, where God is telling the devil that he has a servant that is very faithful to him, and I like to say was testing his faith. So he told the devil, "It's okay, you can do whatever you want, just don't take his life," something like that. Just this is just me summarizing it as much as I can. Forgive me if I'm not getting it right. I'm not an expert on this whole Bible thing, but let me see if I can find it. Mm, Let me see if I can find it. Sometimes I'll pull it up. Okay, yes. When God tells him this, oh, sorry, this is a book of Job chapter 1. It says, "One day the angels came to present themselves before God, and Satan also came with them. God asked Satan, 'Where have you come from?' And Satan answered, 'From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forward, going back and forth on it, going back and forth on it.'" Basically, Satan was saying, "I've been walking all over the earth looking around." Then God asked Satan if he had noticed his servant Job, who was righteous and faithful man. And that's where the whole story begins with Satan saying that Job only loved God because his life was blessed. If God allowed bad things to happen, Job would curse them. So I mean, this right here just tells us the same. It's when he says from roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it. I think this is real life. I really think this is what we're going through currently, with all this judging and women feeling ashamed and a lot more, of course, going on with confusion of little girls and things like that. I think that's happening right now. We're living in those times where the devil is roaming around and he's doing whatever he wants. Now I hear a lot of people saying Jesus is coming, and I truly, truly want to believe that. But I think I even was hearing that with my grandma when I was little, and I would hear my grandma and older people saying, "Jesus is coming, Jesus is coming, he's coming soon, he's coming soon." I'm not gonna lie, I do want Jesus to come soon. I mean, if it can be tomorrow, that would be tomorrow. Am I afraid? Just depends how you see it. I feel like him coming or sending us some kind of sign wouldn't be a bad thing, because I know a lot of people are lost and a lot of people are seeking for that sign. A lot of people are trying to find their ways and they have lost their faith and they're trying their best to find God. And that would probably, I mean, Jesus putting some kind of sign or something in the sky will have people bending in their knees, asking for forgiveness and asking for guidance. And I think that a lot of people will change their ways. I really truly do believe it. For sure I'm one of them. I'll be on my knees for sure because I don't think nobody is deserving of being in heaven or being with Jesus because we all sin, right? I mean, I even have, bad thoughts that the Bible even says that we shouldn't be having it. If we're having it, we're sinning. It's just the Bible is just pretty much not to make you feel bad, but to tell you that nobody is worthy. Nobody is worthy to go to heaven and be there, right? That the reason why we do have a chance is because of what Jesus did for us. It took me a while to understand that. I never got it why Jesus, I mean, died for our sins. It didn't make sense to me. And when I started digging in a little bit more, I was able to understand. And again, this has all been through GPT. I was able to understand that back then, that is the sacrifice that it was needed in the Old Testament. God wanted a sacrifice. And that is what it was going to be needed in order for us to have another chance of life, in order for us to be forgiven. And that's what Jesus was for. He was the lamb that was sacrificed. And because of him and the love that he gave us and all this is that we were able to be forgiven and to find grace in God.
Up on the screen.
Um, okay, let me
So it'll
see
say like start Q&A.
where.
It should be somewhere. And,
Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to find something. It doesn't do it.
there you go, right there.
Uh,
And then it'll pop up. It'll show like a question on the screen.
Okay.
Put like you believe out there.
Honey, just can you? He's not gonna follow you. Just leave him in here.
Okay.
Okay. Um. Everybody. So yeah, so I just my husband just trying to help me out to get this life going. He's been doing it for way longer than what I have, but he told me to put a Q and A. It says, "Do you believe in Jesus?" Um, I I feel that for me, if I'm going to start answering it, yes. Do I believe in him more now than what I did before? Yes, I absolutely do believe more in him than what I had before. But as I was saying previously, so I understood the concept on why Jesus died for our sins, and that's what it was required for him. A sacrifice needed to be done. That is the request that God. Now, this is just me saying this based on what I had found, but it was required for us to be forgiven. And when that happened, a lot of things change, right? Also, Jesus showed us new rules, new commandment, that they were not in the Old Testament. But he wanted to tell us that God is love, that he is not a mean person, unforgiving. No, he forgives us. He loves us. He gives us so many chances. I mean, even in the Old Testament, from a little bit that I known, um, from Jonah. And Jonah's story, if you're familiar to it, it's in the Old Testament as well. And it pretty much Jesus constantly is forgiving Jonah with everything he's doing. So he's sending Jonah to go to a city to go preach and go to this city that is most likely probably a horrible city, but he's sending Jonah there, but Jonah doesn't listen. Jonah disobeys God, gets in a boat, goes in the opposite direction, far away from Jesus, where God told him to go. And while he is sleeping in the boat, waves start happening. They're getting huge. The people that are, I like to say they're I'm not sure, fishermen probably. Um, they're there. They're very scared. Jonah gets up because realizes the boat is moving. And when he sees that the waves are big, he tells them to throw him in the ocean, gets eaten by a fish. He's praying to forgive him. I mean, all these tiny little things, right? He could have just killed Jonah. Oh, you didn't want to listen to me? Then let me just kill you. But no, he allowed him to want to run away because he knew that at some point Jonah is going to turn around and do what he told him to do. But he was just prolonging this whole situation. So in the boat, he could have just have him drowned, but he didn't. He could have, had the fishermen kill him because he was not listening. Or even when the fish came out, ate him, he could have eaten Jonah, but he kept giving him chances after chances and after chances and after chances. And that is how forgiving God is with us. And I said it before, when we are doing something and it doesn't go our way, we tend to blame God for it. Instead of saying, "You damn devil, like screw you, whatever, you mess this up. I'm gonna pray to God and He's gonna take care of it from here." We don't do that. We blame it on God. And I feel that if God will come down right now, we're probably going to be mad at him. Like, why is this happening? Why are people sick? Or why are good people dying? And all these things. We're going to be so angry at him when we don't realize that the grace of God, it's so, so big. I look back and I see how many times I got angry at God and I would tell him, "You don't exist. There's no way you can be real because if this pain is so big and you have not stepped in, there's no way you can be real." But then for some reason by nighttime or the following day, something would happen, then I would be like, "No, you are real. You're trying. You're trying." And then it would hit me that he's here. He's with us. Well, he's with me at that time that I was going through. And I still go through those moments, right? I think we all go through it, no matter who you are. I even think the priest, the most holy priest, um, tends to also question God. And we all go through those moments, but we all have to remember that one, that feeling is not gonna last. Whatever moment, hardship you're going through, season, storm, it's not gonna last. God is going to be there. Well, God is there. He's gonna help us get out of it. If he helped Jonah, forgave Jonah so many times after Jonah was rejecting the message to be there for him, he is going to forgive you so many times. I mean, look what's around you. Focus on what's around you. Um, could be great health. That's just super awesome. I can tell you how many people out there are really sick that I know. Just sitting on a chair, having a roof, having a shower, um, little things like that, that it's important that we get to see to find grace because we forget on that. We're constantly just sitting there saying, "Why God? Why haven't you given me this? Why haven't you done this for me?" And that's not the way that we should be trying to approach God. Again, we tend to say, "Why God?" but we never say, "Screw you, devil." It's more, "Screw you, God, because you don't want to do it my way, and I'm going to do it my way." So, I mean, if you're that person, I think that God even knows it, that you're just hurting. And within that time of you sometimes being mad at God, God still sits with you in a loving way and just gives you all the love that he can. And I think that's pretty neat. I mean, for me, right? For somebody who just started this journey. I like I said, I knew God for a very long time. At least I thought I knew him. But I was that kind of person that would say, "I know who Jesus is, but I never read the Bible." But now that my faith got extremely rocky for a few years, I can tell you that now I understand a few things. that I didn't have a relationship with Jesus. I was that person that had the Bible at the entrance of the house and felt that Jesus was protecting me because I had a Bible right in the beginning of our door. I'm Hispanic, so a lot of Hispanics parents, at least that I know of, we tend to have the Bible in the beginning of the entrance of the house at the door, and we think that we're protected, but we don't open the Bible. We don't know what's protecting us. We don't know how he's protecting us. We don't know what we should be doing for God. God doesn't have to do anything for us. I mean, for goodness sake, he's given us a world. He's given us so many blessings and we're so ungrateful and we don't deserve any of it, but he's still given us everything. I mean, he's given us an ocean that we are not protecting, that we tend to trash, and he still give us an ocean. He's still giving us so much. So I think we that's the one thing we should start changing our focus. It's not what we don't have, it's what we have. That is the one thing I do more often now that I'm, finding trying to look for God. It's trying to seek him by being grateful for the things I have. I read once as someone said, there cannot be any ancientness when there's great when you are grateful for things. So whenever I'm breaking into my whole ancientness, um, I immediately start thinking all the things that God is giving me that I truly mean it. So I can't just go, "Oh, well, because I have a dog or because I have a car that it's working." I need to mean it. I need to feel it. So I start small. I just start by the fact that I have my fingers in one hand and then I still have my other fingers in the other hand, or the fact that I have eyelashes, or the fact that I have a nose, the fact that I have a healthy throat, things that I could truly mean it. Sometimes when I'm in a really low moment, I'll start with 3 things, and then it can help me to see more better things. Sometimes, more things will come around, I'll start being more my gratefulness grow, I like to say, but sometimes I just doing 3, practicing with 3, it's a very good way to start. A very good way to start. Okay, let's see. Do we have anyone that would like to answer if you do believe in Jesus? I definitely want to hear people their opinion on this matter. Um, I won't be offended if you don't. We all have our own journey. We all struggle differently, but I think that we all get to find our way. I know people that never believed in Jesus at all, and now they do. I have family members that work in hospice, and they have said that they were taking care of somebody that was atheist and for sure did not believe in God. And right before they were dying, the first thing is there a heaven? Is there a God? That was their last word, before they passed, or their last concern. So I think we all get to be to that point when we end up believing that Jesus is real. I really do. Sorry, y'all. Talking about God sometimes can make you a little bit thirsty. Um, so what else? If anybody wants to jump in? I hope my audio also it's really good. Okay. If anyone, I know that I have one viewer. If you'd like to please answer the question, that would be awesome. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you think. Um, what your religion is. Maybe you believe something different than what I do. Um, but have you noticed that mostly all religion, we all believe in whatever it's Allah, Buddha. Uh, we all have one person that we know there's a creator, that there's someone out there. Um, that's the one thing that we all have in common. But yeah, so I definitely want to hear, um, what's your religion? I mean, it doesn't matter. This is I want everyone to feel this is a safe place. This is not about judgment. Whatever you believe, it's fine. I had struggled with my beliefs for a very long time, and like I said, that has got me to opening the Bible and understanding a lot of things, a lot of things. Um, I used to be that person of reading the law of attraction and it's all this I think there's that Abraham law. I'm not sure what's it called, but I even would open or I would follow those videos and those teachings. And I felt like I was actually getting more further away from God. So I would have to immediately let that go because it was making me feel more lost. And when I started reading the Bible, I would notice that a lot of the teachings that they had, the Bible has it, right? Like one of the most common one is that the law of attraction tells you to ask for something, think about it, and feel it as you have it already. The Bible has that. Let me actually see if I can find the quote on GPT. For those that don't know, GPT has always been my best friend to find all these things. Let me see. Bible verse about receiving, feeling you have it. Let me see. Um, okay, you see it says Mark 11:24. It says, therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it would be yours. When you pray and ask God for something, believe like you already received it and it will come. This verse reminds us not just ask, but to trust, to feel in our heart that God is already working. And if we don't see it, even if we don't see it yet, I think this is a perfect example, right? So, law of attraction tells you feel it as you have it. And the Bible tells us the same way. So, I'm a believer that a lot of these help books that people read, uh, the Bible has it. So I think it would be a great idea if, if you want to, I challenge you to use GPT and GPT will tell you a lot. I mean, it has about anxiousness, it has about, debt, um, things like that. I believe even in Psalms, there's a few verses that where you find people saying, God, I'm going through a hard time or whatever. These people want to attack me, but I declare victory, things like that. It always ends with God, I know you're taking care of it already. God, I know already you have it and you have solved this problem. So I think that is something that I noticed. Um, it's pretty much like the law of attraction. You got to feel it like you already have it and it's done. And it's also just trusting the process. So if something doesn't really work out the way you wanted, I'm a big believer that God has something bigger for you, that God has something better for you, that you'll see it with time. So I used to pray for like certain things. And then now that I look back, I'm always like, wait, if I would have gotten that, I would have not had this greater gift. Or if I would have not worked on that, I would have not have had what I have now or moved from one state to another, which that's been the biggest blessing for me. But because I went through that or because I didn't get what I wanted or I didn't get it my way, sounds like a little spoiled brat, um, I got something better. Um, what else? Let me see if I can find another verse. I'll probably find it. So Matthew 21:22 also says, if you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayers. Um, it's, Hebrew 11:1 also says, now faith is confident in what we hope for an assurance about what we do not see. I mean, this has every single thing. The Bible has so many verses about so many um, parts of your life. And it even asks you sometimes, GPT, if you want to turn it into a prayer affirmation or a graphic idea for social media. It has some pretty cool stuff. Now the Bible is pretty big. It's huge. And whatever topic my heart says that day that I want to discuss, I go to GPT and I tell them, give me all the verses about this and let's break it down in pieces. I also like to ask, for example, it's when was what was politics at that time? What was going on at that time? How was women being treated? To kind of understand the idea on why those verses were important at that time. Not that they're not for now, but it made more sense back then why they were created. So anybody that jump in, I would love to know, do you believe in Jesus? Do you know there's a Jesus? Do you feel him in your heart? How has he shown up for you? I think that pretty a pretty good idea to get to know everyone's idea because we're all different, right? We're all struggling with that idea of Jesus, but I know that we all get to find him ultimately. We all get to meet him ultimately at whatever stage of our lives. A lot of times I know I have a friend that would tell me, well, how do I know Jesus has been there? Well, look to your past and look what you've been through and tell me one moment, because there has to be one moment where you can look back and say, damn, I really I really made it out of that, out of that relationship, out of that toxic marriage or so on. For me, it's wow, I really made it out of that, family that, when I was very young, my parents were, not in a very good situation physically and emotionally. And I'm just like, I really got out of that. So there has to be a moment when you think of that moment, that is your whole life, what it's going to be. You don't get to see it in the moment. You'll see it eventually that Jesus was there. So since I had been struggling with this, faith, I know that maybe a year from now or maybe next month, I'm going to look back and say, wow, you were there. I was supposed to struggle with my faith because something good was going to come out of it. Um, So yeah, I definitely invite you to, ask GPT questions about verses. If you're having a bad day, just ask GPT, please give me some verses about sadness or anxiousness or anything that you're feeling, and GPT will pull it up and let that be your mantra for the day. So for me, when about 2 weeks ago, I was struggling really bad mentally, and I opened up. I asked GPT to give me a verse that I can walk with all day, and the verse is, "Because I put God before me, He's on my right side, and because he's no, okay, so I put the Lord before me and he's on my right side. And because of that, nothing can shake in me. I walk with that constantly. So whenever there's a bad thought, I immediately replace it with that. Because because God is before me, he's on my right side, and because of that, nothing can shake in me. I repeat that again and again and again and again and again and again. It helps. It really helps. I think his words are so, so powerful, and not a lot of us see it that way, but we have now a GPT, which is a tool. So whenever you feel bad, immediately just jump in and ask questions and tell GPT, give me a mantra about this right now, and it will pull you some really cool verses. I know my pastor, he does approve GPT when we use it for things like that. Um, but I don't think, I know there's some people that are not very okay with it because they feel like GPT, it's going to change our minds about Jesus Christ, but like I said, it's about how you use this tool. I have done Bible studies where I have asked questions, well, how was politics then? And why does this happening? Or who was Paul? Who was Saul? Who was Matthew, what time did he, what era was he born? Like a whole bunch of things, and they're not able to answer them, but GPT does. So I go through the verse, I tell them what this means, what the words are. I go through every single translation because I know that every single translation has something different. A word that changes another translation, a specific word. So I'll ask, what does this mean in Greek? So I literally break it down so much that I'm able to say, okay, this is what it means. This is what it says in your heart. And ultimately is about how you see it as well, right? Because one verse can mean something to me and it can mean something different completely to you. And I learned this through a lady at my church that would tell me, how I read this to you, you might read it differently than me. So I think that's important to know. So if you're reading something and it doesn't touch your heart, just keep looking. Just keep looking and keep looking for verses and keep looking because there will be a verse that will touch your heart. And again, whatever you read, it might be different to what somebody else will take it as. Because I know there's times that somebody will read me a verse and they'll be like, this is what it means. And I'm just like, I don't think so. I don't think that's what it means. But again, it's what your heart is at that moment that you are going to take a verse the way you're seeing it, the way you're feeling it. And it's different than somebody else. I sometimes share things with my best friend. We'll talk about a certain verse and we'll laugh about it because we're both seeing it completely different. Um, but the whole point is about opening the Bible and trying it, just opening the Bible and getting to know what it says. Definitely getting to know what it says. Um, okay, so we got somebody else jumped in. And I mean, there's a question that says, do you believe in Jesus? I definitely, if anyone has a story that they can share on where, you met Jesus and how you met him or what you went through, please do so. I'd love to hear stories. We tend to feel sometimes that we are alone in this journey and that no one understands what we go through. But believe it or not, there's a lot of people. Now, when I was going through YouTube, I couldn't find a channel that can help me to walk through this process. Somebody that would tell me I lost my faith and I'm not doing so good, but here I am trying to spread the word of God. Because sometimes it's not that your life has to be completely fixed in order for you to help people out. Sometimes within that brokenness that you're dealing with, you can help out so many people because we I know people that are already doing amazing and they're not struggling, and it's hard for me to feel that I can get there versus somebody that it's hurting and they're talking from the heart at the moment. I can feel like, yes, that is me. That is how I feel. And then that makes you feel more relatable and less alone. So if you're one of those people, I want you to know I'm not here to tell you there is a Jesus. Believe in him and this is what he's going to do for you. I'm just here to tell you, yes, there is a Jesus, but you have your own journey on getting to know him. I have my own journey. You have your own journey. We all have our different journeys on how we get to know Jesus. So if you want to share your story, that would be super, super, super awesome. Give me just a minute. I'm going to turn off the light a little bit because they're hurting my eyes. I'll be right back. I know it got a little dark in here. I have this white light that just it's extremely, extremely bright. And it does hurt my eyes after a while. And I don't really think it's good. So yeah, I mean, if you can answer that, that would be awesome. Maybe I should see. I love to hear people's stories. We all have, like I said, a different journey, and I love to hear other people what they went through and how inspiring their story was. I think that's pretty good. Um, let's see. But yeah, so GPT has always been something that I've been, well, not always. I have actually started using it about a few months ago. Um, and I know I've been told before you don't have to know everything. You don't have to believe it. You just have to go with it. I'm more about I need to understand it. And I know that whatever I get, if I get to read something and I don't get it, I don't stress about it. I feel like eventually I'm going to understand it. Maybe the situation that I'm in, it has nothing to do with that story, excuse me, but it will come to a time where I would have to, that I will understand it. I know that for sure. That for sure. Um, so I'm very thankful that y'all are able to jump into my life. I think that's pretty neat. Had a few people come in. Um, I'm very grateful for this opportunity. I think I'm extremely grateful uh to be able to talk about God as much as I can. I like to say, and I'm always gonna say he's my boss. I do what he tells me to do. And I think that opening this page and letting people know that they're not alone, it's very helpful. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for, listening my videos. I definitely want y'all to be able to look at my videos and show support. And there's some very good stuff. Like I said, when I looked at videos, I have felt alone. Um, so I felt that I didn't need it. I did not need to have my life put together in order to open a page. That is my dog. I have a dog and he is talking. No, no barking. No barking. Come here. Come here. Want to be in the video? Come on. Come on. Excuse me, y'all. Come here. I have a doggy, and he's actually a very distracting doggy. He needs my attention all the time. I would try to kick him out of the room. Does not get out of the room. Just wants to be here with mama. Say hi. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Yeah? You want to say hi? Hi. Hi. You're so good. You're so good. Look over the TV. Look. Look. Who's that? Who's that? Right there. Well, I want to say thank you once again, everyone, for being here. Appreciate it. Much blessing to everyone. And I'm definitely going to be making more lives. And I appreciate you being here. And I'll see you on the next live. Questions will be, I'll try to think of other questions that can help me to get to know your journey and get to know you as well. But I appreciate you being here and God bless. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.